Welcome to the Iron Vox. I'm Eric Claro, and I'd like to welcome Danny Lucas
AKA.
to my show, aka Danny Dangerous.
Yeah.
Nice to
Danny
meet you,
Dangerous.
man.
Nice to meet you. I'm proud. A lot of people aren't proud of their like cartoony, old punk rock, glam punk, whatever name.
Yeah.
But I am.
Yeah,
Because
and I'm
thought
very-
of it myself, and I had copywrote it, and I had to fight for it at one point.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I'm proud of it.
And by the way, who was the artist that did your album? That amazing. I love
Oh, the Zeros.
the zero from the Zeros. I mean, I
we
apologize.
did. My high school friend, his name is Butch Lukic.
Okay.
And I was, basically best friends with him and his brother Sava Lukic.
Okay.
He's a guy I was in my first band with.
Right.
And he was just a great artist. And when I came into the Zeros when we were doing stuff. I know I'm fast tracking ahead.
Okay.
But he was just an incredible artist, and I just saw the Zeros as like a cartoony. I saw this element that we never really were pushing.
Right.
But
No, was it always something with the purple hair and the outfits that you guys were going for, or was it?
No,
did
I
it
mean,
just
really, it
come
was
along?
the songs. The singer Sammy Sirius really
Right.
wrote some great songs, and we really. It was just it was a real band. Like, it was the kind where, like, he'd come in with acoustic guitar, a rough kind of, would
Right.
just kind of roll through a quick version. Next thing you know, we were just all did our parts. Nobody told us what we were doing. It's like chemistry.
Right.
And we would just go, and the arrangement would kind of fall into place.
Wow.
But getting back to the artist scenario, he was my high school friend, and I just knew that would really add an element to our band. And so I had him draw a cartoon of our singer with a mic stand.
Right.
And our singer had saw it, and I go, look at this, it's my buddy, And then he's like, I got to meet this guy. And next thing you know, he did all of us. He did our car.
Amazing artwork.
It was great. Well, he's actually moved on. He to great things. He's won Emmys, Emmy Award-winning
Really?
director,
Okay.
artist. He's done coffee table books, animation, comic books. Like, he's an actual legit high-end, guy that
Right.
he turned into. He's retired now, but he, we were very lucky to kind of have him. And the second, he drew us. Everybody wanted him, but he was kind of loyal to us, and he did all our flyers, and it was like
I remember all the flyers.
That
yes.
was a big thing because our manager Howie Huberman, who managed us, who managed Poison and helped all these other bands out. He would take these page ads out in this magazine called BAM at the time, and other ones like LA
Rock City
Rock City News, LA Rock Review, Endless Party,
right?
And they would always put them in there, but he really captured it, and he's still my friend today. I just talked to him yesterday.
Wow, really? Well, kudos to him, because when I first saw a lot of the flyers back in the Sunset Strip days, and other places that you guys have performed, I was always amazed at the cover, and the flyer is the first thing you notice, because that's how it was back then, folks. We did not really have, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have anything to really plug the band.
Yeah.
Everything was through flyers.
Oh yeah.
You'd tear somebody's flyer down and you.
Yeah, I actually still have hanging up on my wall, framed, because I've had the band sign it.
Right.
Is remember the band Steeler?
Yes.
They were of the original first wave LA metal. I
Ingve was in that.
I got him to sign it too, but I have was a kid. I took it off the telephone pole when I came here, just trucking around record stores, and I saved it and then had him sign it over the time. Now I have it all framed. Steeler at the Country Club, black and blue opening.
That is insane.
That was like, of the LA bands, I loved Steeler, I loved Rat, I loved Wasp. And but I was more into like the new wave of British heavy metal. Like, when Motorhead first came to America, opening for Ozzy, I don't know if you saw that. Like,
no, I did not.
That first Blizzard of Oz tour was so mind blowing, and we had already. Me and my buddy Butch, the
artist.
He's from England, so his uncle would send over these Kerrang magazines, and
Kerrang.
we got all into these bands before they came over here, like Saxon, Girls School, and we would go see
all the
them.
British Invasion.
Yeah, so I was kind of more into that. But by the time, like, the Zeros had kind of, I had moved here, right out of high school, and played with my buddy, and then I got a chance to join the Zeros, which I took.
Wow, perfect.
And
so, who were your influences growing up as far as playing wise?
like in high school style?
In high school, yeah.
Well, y'all start off with one band, you know what I mean? And in when I was in
Right.
fifth, sixth grade, Kiss was that band.
Kiss was the band, exactly.
It was the band.
Exactly, yeah.
And so you start off with the Kiss, and
did you guys wear the makeup as well?
well, yeah,
no?
on Halloween for sure. Yeah, I got pictures on Paul Stanley or on
right, Gene Simmons, right?
Yeah, Gene Simmons. But and then I remember in the 70s it was 77 tour. Cheap Trick opened, and
wow.
I was just so naive as a little kid. You go, oh well, hey, that must be their friends. I'm going to go buy their record too. You know what I mean? But it just that whole 70s, Aerosmith, Queen, Ted Nugent, Thin Lizzy. I'm a big UFO fan.
So
but then once I kind of, there's almost a progress that you go through. You know what I mean? Because like I said earlier before we did this, I'm a record store guy. Like I grew up junior high, just going to used record stores. Yep. Yeah. There was always one by my house. It was hip to that early on, and I'd always just find my journey because my mom was into 50s music, so I already kind of knew that, and I really just really went for it. Once I got the rock and roll bug, which happens to all of us that are really into music or usually in bands, I just had to know everything and
so did being in a band in high school kind of give you a little bit more of desire of continuing on with playing, or did you kind of quit after that and said, you know what, this is just
I didn't.
Little phase.
It's kind of weird. Where I grew up in where I went to, I moved around a lot as a kid.
Okay.
So I was born in San Diego.
Okay.
But I lived every few years for my stepdad's job. I would move somewhere. So I would, for his job. So I had lived in Arizona. I had lived in Texas. I had lived in different parts of California. I went to junior high in Fresno, California.
Right.
And then in high school, I got to move back to a place called, we moved to Escondido, California. Okay. And that's where I went to high school. And there wasn't a lot of rock and roll dudes in my school, but there was a good chunk of them. You know what I mean? There's always and it didn't matter. There could be a guy that was a Beatle-y kind of guy. There was a metal dude, or we were all seemed to kind of knew everybody. And, I started playing bass because I loved I loved Cheap Trick, of course, and but my biggest kind of guy was a guy named Pete Way from UFO.
Oh, okay.
And I just loved UFO. Yeah. I saw UFO
Rock Bottom.
I was in
songs,
it. And when I saw UFO for the first time in 1980, San Diego Sports Arena.
So that's without Schenker already.
It was without Schenker. It was Paul. Even though we all had Strangers of the Night at that point. And we were so into it.
Right, great album.
And I saw the band. I was like, I want to be that guy, or I want to be like that guy, And
he had really long hair and the whole,
So I had bought a bass from a guy at high school, Fender Music Master, I remember, and just started kind of figuring out tunes. And I had a high school friend that played bass, and I remember he kind of helped me get going. And I never, to me, I didn't know what I wanted. I just was doing it. It wasn't like you said high school bands. Yeah. I jammed with a couple people, but it wasn't until I had a band with my friend Savo, the Butch's brother, that I really was like, okay, we're going to be playing. And I played with him. We moved up here. There was a band called Road Crew that had Slash and Steven Adler in it, and they broke up, I think, to go to Guns N' Roses. And the singer of that band, we started a band with him. And that was a band called One Eyed Jacks I had. And
I remember
we played
One Eyed Jacks.
Just a few shows, but it wasn't too many. But I played that, and it was cool. It was just we just didn't know what we were doing, really. Wow. And then I instantly one night I was I would go to a lot of East Hollywood clubs too. I wouldn't just really go to the Strip hardly much, but I'd go sometimes if the Whiskey I went to,
Right.
if to see bands and the Roxy or whatever. But I was going everywhere, and so there was an underground club called at Osco's, which was where the Beverly Center is now.
Okay.
And they had a club called White Trash, which is Janice DeSoto club, and she was really her and like a couple like Dale Gloria. They all had these big clubs in East Hollywood.
Right.
Scream, English
I remember
Acid.
Scream. I remember English Acid as well.
Club with No Name, all these things. And this was White Trash, and it was in this crazy cave town in this place called Osco's, which looked like a Star Trek. Remember Star Trek when Captain Kirk and Spock would go in and be like the walls in the cave, the walls would be like white.
So that
glitter.
must have been really trippy to go into, man.
And my roommate at the time, she was going down there to see a band called, I think, Demolition Gorgalore, which is more of an indie band, and just kind of glam, trash, Dalsy style.
Right.
And I just went with her, and I had heard about this band called the Zeros that were in town from the East Coast, and that I would love them. And then just these 4 guys came in with blonde hair and carrying like little amps, and everybody back in the 80s had these huge amps, huge drums. Everybody had to like have an endorsement, which I always thought was kind of goofy.
Yeah.
And here these guys just had small amps and they play this set, and it's just me and like 6 other people. Like there's people around the club, but you could tell they went on so late.
Right,
it was
right,
even late for like Hollywood terms. It was like 1 in the morning.
Right.
And I was blown
Stragglers,
away.
yeah.
I was blown away by it, and I saw the bass player at the time, and I was like, he was very, a good-looking guy, and he was cool, and he had a cigarette out of his mouth, and I was like, this guy's cool, he plays great, and no disrespect to him because he was great, but I knew that this band needs me. Like, this guy needs a guy. This guy needs a guy. This band needs a guy
needs
that
a little bit of punch, man.
That
that
has
punch.
some energy, rocks it, and I'm cartoony kind of like. But so that's what I kind of got made fun of being a kid.
Man.
So I was like, this needs more cartoony, more jumping around. And I got friends with the band, and their manager had hit me up when he left and asked me to join, and I gave that band everything I had, and did
great. I mean,
Sammy was a good, he was a little older than us. He kind of leaded it, and we weren't a druggy band. We were kicking ass.
Yeah, and I always kind of saw that, even though you guys were all purpled out and kind of, oh my God, who are these guys? And it's just all about the music.
Yeah, the music
that you guys did.
Our manager, we eventually got Howie Huberman, was he came in with a game plan kind of style. He really had direction because we were just playing. We were just young. I wasn't.
So he was a big
I think
part.
I was 20 when I joined the band. You know what I mean?
You were 20 when you were in the band.
It was very early on. And
so what year did you actually join?
87.
87,
It was like 87 and all the way up. And we started like, we were playing like East Hollywood clubs like Raji's or like Scream or something. And we'd play once in a while an odd strip show. And once we got him, he said, okay, you guys, we started redefining it. We used to wear these suits with little nipples on it and crazy stuff. And he was like, okay, you need to lose that. You need to And that presented its own problem. Like, it was like, okay, now I don't wear this uniform. Like, what am I going to wear? And you saw, okay, how am I going to do this? So it took a while. Like,
so you couldn't do it like Kiss and just wear the same thing over and over again.
No, we just wore our own thing. Like, Sammy always just wore a leather jacket with his face painted. He was kind of like a little early on.
Right.
Nobody really did that. Like, I saw punk guys do that in the punk scene of just painting their jacket, but he doesn't paint it like that. He painted like his own face, a cartoon in the back, and had little toys hanging.
Yeah.
Everybody had, and it was like,
it's
basically, I had a ex-girlfriend, and but she was a hairdresser.
Okay.
And when she came in, Joe would tease my hair. I wasn't a glam guy when I joined the band. I just loved the band.
Right.
I would have probably not went that route, but I knew once I had to do that joining the band. And once I did that, I go, okay, this is the flag that I have to fly forever. Because once you do something, you're known for that forever.
Yeah.
And you don't disrespect it. So I looked at it and I go, okay. I went in and I wasn't interested personally in looking like, the
whole
a female
Hollywood
scenario.
Yeah,
right.
right.
And when I saw, I remember seeing Poison at the Troubadour really early on, when Cece was in the band though.
Right.
But it was okay,
they were hardcore
okay,
glam.
this was hardcore glam.
Yeah.
It was kind of a Dolls thing, but almost like they took it and they made it 80s and all.
Yeah.
If you threw like that Kiss kind of party song thing,
I think
and
that
I saw,
was kind of the look. I mean, Motley Crue to Poison.
fully.
To,
when I went out of the Troubadour that day, there was all these bands firing that looked like drag queens.
Kind of like chicks,
Chicks, and I was going, okay, you know, my glam is like Bowie, Sweet,
which is cool. Yeah, T-Rex,
Roxy Music. You know, that's what I'm into, and I already was fans of that going in.
Right.
And you know, so when the Zeros, you know, did that, I had to kind of learn how to do my stuff
and keep it up and keep up. And
it wasn't
the persona.
Yeah, it wasn't until my ex-girlfriend, who was a hairdresser, she really helped me. Like, she came in and she's like, well, I don't like my hair like this, you know. Some of the guitar player teased it.
Right.
And she's like, well, what do you want your hair like? And I was like, I was kind of more into like punk and other stuff then. And I was like, well, I want my hair to stand up like GBH. There's a man called GBH used to, and I go, or like a
just something
Daniel Ash from like Love and Rockets or Bauhaus, like he had it like
Love and Rockets,
and I was like, okay, you know, and she kind of did it, like found a good hybrid of that, my own, you know, just like that, and then like the jacket that I wore on the cover of a record, which I wear around or a gig, that was actually my stepdad's that I had from like high school. I just went in his closet one day.
Is it the red one that you wear?
It was like I was into Hanoi Rocks from that.
Was that his high school?
I was getting into Hanoi Rocks, and I was like, that looks like something they'd wear. And I was like, hey, Dad, can I have this? And so I
very cool, because it totally worked for you. You know,
she bought me my first bow tie, which kind of I saw catch on, and eventually people would, you know, it's important to me because I didn't want to go girl route. I wanted to go more like, you know, somebody from like the Addicts, or like you saw the way they took glam, Monkey took
rather
glam,
than the chick band, you know, that
like that. I was like, okay, this band deserves, you know, just to me, I'd rather be a character as opposed to a female.
Well, you did an amazing job with that,
because you're your own guy at the end of the day. Somebody could be, oh, you got a bow tie. Like the haters would be like, you know, oh, this or that, but it was, at the end of the day, you're your own guy, and you're like, I love Ray Davies and the Kinks. I can point out.
You know what? I was gonna say that. You remind me kind of Ray Davies from the Kinks, dude.
But it'd be like, just took amazing, more old school like that.
Yeah.
And then you know, I was really animated, just so people would throw Pee Wee out. They would throw Rick Nielsen, who I love. Literally,
Rick Nielsen's amazing.
You know, just actually.
Let me see.
Bunny Carlos tattoo.
Oh, wow.
I was into that. Was one of my first tattoos I ever had. It was just
first guy I ever seen with Bonnie Carlo tattoo, man.
But they
totally cool.
All those bands, you know, did it, but even P Way, of course. But you know, I knew what I wanted to do, be my own guy. And at the end of the day, I saw how it changed. Like I you know, I don't want to be me, but in our band, you know, each guy had a personality. Right. And I just saw, like, I had developed this, you know, fan base of dudes, and they're like, you know, a lot of them were like young kids that were in bands on the strip just starting, and they'd be like.
Did you ever find that some of these followers started kind of emulating dressing like you?
Totally did.
And showing up at your shows?
Fully did. That's right. That was how you knew things were going good. And I remember and Sammy had the same thing. We all had the same thing. Like our drummer, he had the same thing. And I did have that, and I saw it. And it was like, but I looked at it going, well, hey, you know, I looked up to people in bands too. So I had, you know, if that was you know, I'm just saying, even to this day, whatever genre, you know, it could be anything you want. Somebody that I liked, you know, I would be like, oh, you know, if you know, I met Johnny Rotten, I'd be like, oh, dude, I got a jacket just like you did in '77. He'd be like, you know, they want to go, hey, I want to go play the strip. Well, no, dude, you got to start.
Get in line.
You know, I played tons of like little spots way before I like would play there. I mean, in open, you know, it was a whole workup scenario.
It really is.
You got to put the work in.
Yeah.
You don't just start
it's funny,
there.
and it's funny because nowadays, there's YouTube, there's all these.
There was nothing like that.
There was
then.
nothing like
you
that.
You had to flyer and prove yourself
or
live.
BAM magazine or something.
The chance of a band breaking through,
right,
and getting a following and becoming a headliner in those days was very slim.
Yeah,
and that's why I couldn't. I just was like, I'm going to work my ass off, and
is that? So
I was so happy to be in a band with guys that wanted to also work their ass off.
So would you say
Sammy was more driven than me? Even
that's what I was going to say. So would you say the whole band was for working hard, or there's only certain people in the band that just
don't work? I get it. That might on the weekend not work or something, but no. I can honestly say that we all worked hard. We were very division.
Okay.
Like me and the guitar player were very pro. We would go and promote. Joe Normal would go promote, and this guy would do this. Like we worked really good together.
Right.
And
okay. So with that, you had also a project with Joe as well.
Yeah,
So how did that turn out?
I love those guys. All three of them. Mm-hmm. And time moves on, life moves on. Yeah. But after I had, was out of the Zeros the first time, I actually came back with them from '95 to '97, and
were those usually kind of a tough year?
They were tough years. We basically played the Coconut Teaser. We'd go play like Arizona or Vegas. It was just kind of like.
Would you kind of have to kind of blame the grunge years? Because that type of music came into play and everybody else was kind of
You could say initially maybe a little earlier than that would be like that 93 to 94, why bands probably weren't getting record deals or losing record deals of the hard rock, hair metal, poodle metal, whatever.
Right.
You just couldn't. I could see that for sure. I know our band, though, wearing makeup, even though we were not a hair metal band. We had like punk elements, we had Beatle elements. We were really combining a lot of stuff.
Yeah, very good.
And just refused to be one thing. That we did wear makeup though, and I know that it would have probably been looked at like what, because that just wasn't part of what you're talking about.
Well, I think you guys did a pretty damn good job, even with makeup and everything that you're mentioning right now. It's just that the times, I guess, when, like I said, when that genre of music came in the 90s, it kind of threw a lot of the Hollywood bands out of socket.
It was it was funny because a lot of guys I knew that were in bands that were not just glam bands, but like other bands, all of a sudden it like cut their hair and then like they looked like they were in Weezer or something, and I was like, well, wait, you look
right. What happened?
You were in an Exodus kind of Death Angel style band
all
2 weeks ago, and now you're pretending
all of a sudden you look like Metallica.
Yeah, you were pretending that you didn't like that music. Like, I don't understand. Like, you can like other things and do other things.
Yeah. Now, did you ever go that direction when that came in? That style of genre came in?
What do you mean?
Like kind of a grunge thing? Did you kind of fall into that?
No. No, I didn't.
You kept true and just
I stayed
just said,
true.
I'm going to do,
because why change who you are? Like this is who I was, and I remember there was one time I remember I did a show with Sam. I came back and I had I didn't look rock and roll so much because I was a parent. I was raising a kid. I had got a job. I really wasn't playing in any bands. And I remember I just came on my brown short hair, played a show, and then people hated it. And I thought, oh gosh, I guess I got to
change up a little bit.
I got to change it up. But but no, I didn't. But eventually after that, when I had done stuff outside of the Zeros, which we can talk about.
So what you're talking about is Cold Blue Rebels.
Well, my first band I was in after. There was a time where the Zeros in '97 is style. Sam, it wasn't like the band broke up. It was just kind of like he had added other lineups from our original lineup. So like I had left, or he threw me out. That's just how you want to talk about who's you're talking to. Okay. And the two brothers, Mr. Insane and Joe Normal, left, and then he had got another lineup. He continued to put records out. He puts stuff out today, and I'm really lucky that he invites me to do it. I've kind of got myself in a situation where he, if I can do it, I will. If I can, he won't.
So where would you say?
I'm a friend of his, but I did leave, and I started a band with a friend of mine that was in a band called the Lonely Souls. His name was Greg Verduzco, and he's passed away now. Okay. Had some health stuff, but we started a band called the Slow Time Mondays, which was like a power pop kind of band.
Oh.
Cheap Tricky kind of,
Okay.
And it was in that 90s period.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I was kind of into rockabilly at that point. And I had basically, I looked that way. That's how I was just into that, going to see shows, doing that. And it wasn't trying to be something. I wasn't trying to bank off anything. It's just what I wanted.
It just wanted what you wanted.
And it ties into some of the bands. Like you could like Social Distortion, or you could like this, and it kind of tied into that. There was a punk element to it. There was like, and I knew other guys. It was cool.
Yeah.
And my ex-girlfriend at the time that I went out with for like a decade was a hardcore rockabilly girl, and she would love swing dancing and stuff. So
definitely.
So I kind of seemed to kind of gravitate towards that. But our band, we put out an album, and then we put out an EP, and then
was it with a what do you call label, or was it just...
No, it was just on our own.
Okay.
We did, and it's on YouTube. Look it up, Slow Time Mondays. And then he moved to Vegas for a job.
Okay.
And then some time went by, and I was just working, and I had also worked the Comedy Store as well as my day job. And I've worked there now 30 years, and I'm the stage manager of their main room, which is a big responsibility, but I love it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So the responsibility is just taking care of the entire...
It's just a show. See, you're the first one there, you're powering up, you get the lineup, you get all the comics going, you time the comics, you get them on. It's always like... the craziness of LA, like all of a sudden this guy's late, this guy canceled, you got to grab this guy, you got to call, you're
I could just imagine
and you cross the finish line every night, and you just go, wow, that was great, and then you start all over again the next time. I only really work the weekends at this point. I have people that we've hired, like a staff, that can work the weekdays because I work my day job, but I work. I'm always there on the weekends. Always.
Now, have you met any famous?
Oh, I know them all. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're all
okay.
All the comedy people. I mean, I've met them, or I know them, but most of the people. There's some East Coast based, but if they're ever in the West Coast based, I've known them.
Now, who was some of the people that you kind of like? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm with this person right now.
Nobody really, because I'm not really like
starstruck
on a comic thing like that. Okay. I just am not. I mean,
well, I'm sure there are other people that walk in there other than comedians that.
In that case, if you're talking about that, I will be honest. I don't care if you're my age, like, and you liked hard rock in the late '70s. Like, sorry, there's gonna be, So we've had a lot of people in there.
Okay.
But I will tell you, if you're asking me who I was kind of starstruck with, or who I like, probably the only person I asked for an autograph for, and just was very happy to talk to you. He'd been in there a couple times. Was Eddie Van Halen.
Really?
And he went in there, and he was so nice. And David Lee Roth came in a few times, but that was a big thing because there's something about guys in bands, musicians. He's pretty huge. He's our that thing,
he's
from
right
that
there.
Time period. That was it. He was the man. And
so, would you go there often?
We've had Steven Tyler from Aerosmith's done some benefit shows there for his cause. His charity. We've had some really good people in there, but if you ask me, that was one where I was like,
that kind of hit up there.
That was it.
Wow. I can't believe. So was this before his death? Maybe like a couple of years prior.
Oh, this was actually around like
early the
2000. 2000.
Okay.
He's been in a couple of times. It was more earlier on. It wasn't. Like
it wasn't anything too
But he went in there, and it was just a chance to get his autograph and to meet him. And,
okay. So, Danny, I'm going to ask you a couple of little questionnaire here with bands, okay?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to throw you some band names, and you choose which band you think is a little bit more your taste.
I got you.
Okay. Sex Pistols or the Ramones?
Boy, that's a tough one. Why did you have to go so hard? Why couldn't it have been the Ramones and
the Pistols or the Ramones? Who do you think? Who is your higher choice? If it came down to music, to vocals, to
well, I got to be honest. The Ramones to me were so much a big thing for me. Like that was kind of such a big thing growing up. Like I just was in it, like just as much as I loved hard rock, and I I loved them so much.
Okay.
And the one thing that the Ramones did where, say the Sex Pistols Sex Pistols put One and Done, the best record and done. But
never mind the Bullocks. I think that's it.
But here you have the Ramones putting out records, and you're able to go
back albums.
You're going to see them. I've seen the Ramones so many times that it's like I just that's a tough one. Even like Dee Dee Ramone, like one of the reasons I knew to like get an Ampeg was I standing to see the Ramones. Like, okay, he's using that amp.
Right.
I got a Fender bass.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, Dee Dee Ramone plays that. I started learning with figuring out bass parts just because Ramone's songs were easy.
Yeah.
When really,
Well, and then compared to Sid, which isn't really.
Well, I mean, Glenn Matlock.
You know what I mean?
I'll give him the way props because that was the original bass player. But yeah, Sid's Image. I mean, I was all about it. Like I can't decide. I'm sorry.
Okay, so
I love both of them.
It's even. It's even with both bands.
If I was forced to, I would be like, okay, as much as I love Johnny Rotten, I'd have to pick the Ramones.
Yep, exactly. And there you have it, folks. Right. So the Ramones. Okay. GBH or Exploited?
God, these are tough questions. And I'm going to pick GBH, and the reason why is Waddy's the shit. I love seeing the Exploited. If you've never, that whole UK
energy, man.
UK 82 thing was something I'd only really was, as a young person, kind of gravitate towards in records. I would be a little afraid to go see them, where I lived in high school. But I eventually saw those bands, and I love whenever I get the chance to see those bands, I go see them. And but I would pick GBH because, with the exception of they've had some drummer changes, that top three lineup is still there. The original, Jock, the guitar player,
right.
Just the bass player. They're all like there. And I
so would you say songwriting wise and
that's a feat.
Music wise?
That's just so they stayed together. That's hard.
I got you.
Yeah. And we're Exploited. You love that first lineup, but really, if you really go down the Exploited lineup, like when they kind of get a little, almost, I'm not going to say metal, but there's a
little bit, with the double kicks and the drums.
I can go and break it down. Yeah, but dude, those records are great. And the anger's still there. There's no
He's
changing.
Still pretty damn angry.
There's no changing. He is a punk front.
He's an angry
He is an icon. I met him. Chuck Burnell, the agent,
you got to meet him.
Got me a chance to introduce me to him. And that was just made a dream come true because I just couldn't believe I'm meeting him. This is great. I was starstruck meeting. You know what I mean? There's certain bands like that, that I love that when that's just I'm into it.
That just totally get you
but
going.
But that's a hard one,
between the two. Okay,
I would say GBH.
GBH on that one. Okay, so we got Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin.
Sabbath.
Gotcha on that one. That was a quick one. Yeah. Not much into Page.
No, love Page. Yeah, all great, dude.
Much more of the darker.
Well, Ozzy, dude. Yeah. Sabbath. Come on. Volume 4. How could you
Volume
not
4. Yeah, exactly. Volume 4.
I'll say Never Say Die. I don't care.
Never Say Die is a good. Yeah.
And dude, it was he would, a guilty pleasure. When I bought Heaven and Hell, I'm kind of, that's a Singer Rainbow. Wait a second. This is a great record.
Did that throw you off when Dio, I guess, got into
I'll never forget bringing home Heaven and Hell. I bought it at the record store. I was with a buddy from high school, and we put it on, and we both were like, "Oh, that's the guy from Rainbow." It sounds like what's no Ozzy?
Yeah.
And we're like, "No Ozzy." Wait a second. No Ozzy. This is
what is this?
And it was like
this is blasphemous.
You didn't want to like it, but you had to.
Yeah,
it was great,
yeah.
but I was just like, "Where's Ozzy?"
Yeah.
And it was when Blizzard of Oz came out. I mean, as much as Heaven and Hell was good, I didn't. Yeah. I was like, Ozzy was my man.
Right.
I was about it. I was just like, this is, you could just tell it was so great. I can honestly say, if you had to pinpoint, I've seen so many concerts in my lifetime from a bunch of genres. I'm going to just straight up say the best concert I ever saw was that first Ozzy Osbourne tour. I saw it at the Fox Theater in downtown San Diego.
Was that with Brad Gillis already?
No,
or was
it was Randy Rhoads. I saw him twice.
You saw him with Randy?
Yeah, twice.
Wow.
And then it was, I saw Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. I've seen Ozzy all the way up, dude. Like, all the way. Like, I even bought the meet and greet one time.
There you have it, folks.
Like, I love Ozzy. And but it was Ozzy and Motorhead's first time in America, and we already knew.
That must have been
me and my buddy Butch and stuff. We knew who they were, so we were in it. I couldn't believe seeing like Filthy Phil, Fast Eddie, and Lemmy like get off the bus, going, "Jeez!"
Rest in peace, by the way.
Randy Rhoads got out of a car next to my buddy who went to like my buddy Sab. It was like he was like, Randy, like we were just so starstruck on this show, and then it comes out and we were just ballistic and
just blew you guys away.
Took the reins.
Yeah,
and I just think that it like so important.
Very cool.
You know. So
all right. So Sabbath, Judas Priest or Iron Maiden?
Judas Priest.
Judas Priest. Okay.
Now, if you're gonna go deep down this thing, I'm a huge fan of the first. You could say I'm gonna say the first two Iron Maiden albums, and I loved
with
Paul Di'Anno.
Paul Di'Anno.
I loved his voice. I loved the fact he. To me, maybe I'm delusional, but he seemed like a punk frontman to me.
Yeah,
and I loved the sound.
You know what? They were more actually punkish.
Yeah, Runnin' Free. That's not a punk style song. Like I can break it down, but it's like I'd see the metal there. I see even the classic '70s, and I was so into it. Killers was I was so into it. It was like the reason I played with my fingers was Steve Harris just trying to do it. This guy I knew in high school was like, "I gotta play the finger, Steve Harris." You know, it was like, and he knew all the lyrics. Right, it was like, "You're right."
Now, did you get a chance to see Maiden at all?
Oh, I didn't see them with Paul Di'Anno. They opened that tour with UFO, my favorite bands, but they didn't play San Diego. So I was a kid, you know, I didn't have no way to see it.
Out on that
but I did see them. We went to Anaheim Stadium when their first show with Bruce Dickinson, Number of the Beast tour. To be honest with you, the first probably four. Definitely the first three, but probably the first four Iron Maiden albums to me were like really
the best.
Really to me, but then I saw them after. I've seen them since. I own the other records.
They started kind of getting a little, I don't know,
proggy
with the style of music, you know.
I don't hate on it. I just know that Judas Priest to me all the way down the line. Like I was in it. Just Point of Entry was my first show.
Point of Entry.
I saw. And I was in it. Unleashed in the East, one of the best live albums ever. You just go all the way down the line. Yeah. Like I went and saw them recently. Like I'd buy every record. You know, I go see KK's Priest. You know, I'm in it. Like
so. So you have a whole collection. What is your most valuable?
Not really a collection, but
what would you say is your most valuable that you, or a couple of albums that you have now?
I got rid of my vinyl at one point.
Oh, you did?
I did. I was just getting.
Too much.
The money was there. I was a single dad. I needed it, but I was like, it just got.
And it does get.
But once I got everything on my phone, I have records still that I saved. A lot of some punk stuff, like that I had bought. I know that you won't be able to get. Okay. And I have I'm really a big autograph collector, kind of like when I was a kid, like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. I have that. You know, I got when I was a kid, standing back of San Diego Sports Arena. You know what I mean, like. I have, so I save all that stuff, and
so do you pretty much collect?
More of an autograph collector, but I have a whole pop culture thing of just mixed bag of just great old school movie posters and stuff. But I have New York Dolls stuff and big Johnny Thunders fan, you know.
Nice. So last one, The Damned or The Cramps?
The Damned.
The Damned.
Yeah. Okay. And I love the Cramps, but I saw them a bunch of times. But The Damned to me is just somebody that I've followed throughout the whole thing, and I still go see them. And I mean, the second record I love, but I love Strawberries, but I love anything. I love. You know,
would you say your bass playing comes from a certain type of bass player that you kind of followed at one point? I know you mentioned Cheap Trick.
I was a big Tom Peterson fan. I owned 8 strings and 12 strings, and I did that. But that's his thing. I would go do. I wouldn't cop that. Like you gotta. I just like to play Gunna Raise Hell in my bedroom.
Now how did you switch to stand up? And I'm sure that's a huge.
But the bottom line, if you're talking bass playing, like to me, I gonna go. I'll break it down. My favorite like players that I'd have to throw Dee Ramone in because I started out there. I would have to say those early Maiden and just a lot of that, sort of metal, like just guys you wouldn't think of. Like I remember a guy from Montrose, Bill Church. I would just figure out all his stuff. Like the guy from the Pretenders, Pete Farden.
Wow,
to me, he didn't just look cool. He looked cool. He played good.
Yeah.
Like I just learned playing all these.
The Who at Whistle. I mean,
definitely
that guy was just a monster.
That was it. Like when you get a little better, there was a point in time where I was just whistling it all the way. I'm a big fan of Andy Rourke of the Smiths.
Oh, okay.
I love the way him and Johnny Marr.
Johnny Marr's an amazing guitar player.
Great. I actually know him. Hey, Johnny. But the way you could tell that wasn't somebody that they just met and started playing. Like that was like groomed, and sure enough, they grew up together. You know what I mean? He would just bounce these arpeggios off what he was doing, and I just thought that was like some different tuning.
Yeah,
just amazing. And a big influence, the guy that never gets credit that should, is not metal, but is the original bass player and still with him today, Joe Jackson's bass player, Graham Mabey.
Okay.
If you listen to that, like I'm the Man or Look Sharp, like he is an amazing bass player.
What makes him? I mean, is it his style of just tone? I mean,
well, the guy's well-rounded, which is kind of something I learned kind of going on. Like I knew a lot of guys that were this or that, but really, if you just have a good, well-rounded, then you're going to get farther. When a band, say a guy brings in something that's kind of country style, did you ever try that? Or like I remember I took a bass class once in like Latin.
Really?
It's just a random thing to see. I went to music school for a little while, and that really helped me because one day I needed it.
Wow,
and so there's guys you love. I saw Jaco Pastorius when I was young. He went to my school and he did a seminar. I had it as his first record. I was into him, but I'm not a jazz fusion guy, and I don't want to play like that.
Jazz is kind of
I don't
all over
really
the place
need to
too.
play. I don't need to play that way. That's not what I'm into. I'm into like rock and roll,
just straightforward. Yeah.
Well, I like to do stuff. So, I'm busy, but not that busy. I don't need. I don't know. Like I'm not a cop out to where I'm sitting there going just rooting it all the time. I don't do that. But I will play for the song. Like the Zeros did have a lot of driving stuff where the bass and drums drove it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you look at it, my right hand had to be strong in the Zeros because I was like,
I was going to ask you about that too because it takes a lot to kind of.
It did that. I was really me and the guitar player bounced off each other really well. But basically, there was a time where. I was just like into rockabilly and doing this, and I had played. I had known Jet Boy from back in the day. The scene that we kind of played in was more like L.A. Guns, Jet Boy, Guns N' Roses, that little
with
scene.
The little mohawk, I
and
think.
we would be there. So Mickey Finn, would still maybe play with Jet Boy once in a while, but he had moved to Los Angeles, and he was actually really into psychobilly.
Oh, okay.
And I had asked his, as I asked his girlfriend, hey, well, if he's going to start a side band or just do something fun, I'd love to play with him. Because I looked at him. I kind of looked at.
Wanted to work with him.
My Danny Dangerous character is kind of more of a glam punk.
Right.
scenario.
So you wanted to go opposite.
No, and he was the original glam punk, like that I knew. He had the mohawk. He was very into like early bands. He'd seen GBH and all these bands when they first came across the pond, and I just knew that no matter what he did, and I liked the fact that he liked different styles of music. He knew a lot about everything. Right. And I wouldn't, I was more friends with Billy from Jet Boy, and but he said,
so
hey, he goes, I'm into this. He goes, if you buy a stand-up bass, and I'll start a band with you.
Wow.
Because he knew I knew rockabilly, and I was just like, fuck it. Like,
let me do this.
I didn't even think about it. I flipped some basses that I had.
Right.
And
was it a huge change for you to?
Oh, I'll get there. I'll definitely get there.
Doing that.
So I ended up buying a bass from this band called the Rockets.
Okay.
My buddy Tony from there sold me his old 68K.
Okay.
And I started my journey with that. And now as an instrument guitar player, bass player, this part right here, even though the spacings on the stand-up is different,
and there are no frets.
The mentality is the same. You know the root. You know it's fretless.
I got you.
You can tape marks there and cheat when you're starting out.
Okay.
But you'll hear it eventually. But this part is all the same. So like if you could walk a bass line, so like if you played, you could just walk a bass line 50s style, because 50s has its own like kind of thing.
Right.
You could do that on your normal bass. Well, then this part you don't have to worry about too much.
Interesting. It's the picking, right?
But this part, it was, I can't even stress to you. It was a very, I respect it. I respect the art, and I worked really hard at it. And it took me a while. Like I had already made the first record. We had written song. Me and the singer, Mickey Finn, we kind of wrote a first grip of songs.
Okay.
And then we hired a drummer, which is Spaz Drastic. He was in a band called the Glamour Punks, but he was a rockabilly guy.
Glamour Punks.
He was a rockabilly guy. So
I
I knew him. He joined. Then we had the three of us. Then we needed a guitar player, and we would hit these guys we were getting to audition weren't like rockabilly people. And it was my buddy Joe Normal from the Zeros that I sat there and I told him what band I was doing, this new thing, and he goes, "Oh, I'd love to be a part of that."
Wow.
And he's from that school of like the Beatles, like chords, and I was like, well, maybe we'll try it. But he took it so seriously, and he just, next thing you know, two twin reverbs. He's playing "Race with the Devil" by Gene Vincent.
My
I mean,
gosh,
this guy just boomed it, and then we were off and running.
Wow.
And we incorporated the zombie makeup, and we did.
I thought that was a very cool thing.
It was
that
cool.
you guys had going on, man.
Once again, I didn't lower the glam flag. I did wear makeup. Nobody can say I changed.
I thought it was very cool.
The bullet hole, come on, that was cool.
It was so
the
cool.
coffin,
Yeah.
And we did that, and
amazing.
And it was so fun because it wasn't a scene that was big.
Yeah.
It wasn't no pressure. You weren't doing it to make money. You were just doing it for the love of it.
For a crowd, it's something you want to see.
We put a show into what we did. Yeah. And I looked at it going, okay, we did a lot more than a lot of bands did. Right. But we weren't the first Billy band to wear zombie makeup. We weren't the first, we weren't snaking anybody, but we were just what we liked to do.
I mean,
and all that. And I couldn't believe, like, we rose up through it really fast. Wow. Like, we started just in LA, a little show, and next thing you know, another little show, and but then we just boom, 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 boom. There was a guy, his name is Brando. He's an agent in Los Angeles. He was big in the rockabilly world. He had kind of took us under our wing and helped put us on some great lineups, and we always went over, and we just got pretty popular really quick. And then a guy named Wednesday 13, who through the horror rock genre, got us a record deal through his independent record deal place. So he put our record out there, and then we had played a lot. We did a lot of runs. We would tour a lot. Like, we would go take
so where
a
would
week
you guys
off.
like what
you would just go for it. Like, you go every weekend. We were driving to Bakersfield or Arizona or like Fresno or like Berkeley.
So you guys were playing nonstop.
We just boom, 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 and then we'd go for runs. Like, we go up through Oregon. We did our first tour was 2011. We did it with the Rockets. We went on a rockabilly thing.
Okay.
And then after that, we joined up with Wednesday on his package summer tours. We'd always be somewhere in the bill. We'd be it'd be him and somebody else.
How long did it usually last when you would do these?
It would
these
change.
runs?
Like, we did one for, it would always be a couple months, it seemed like. Okay. But if I did a little run on my own, it could be a week. Like, you could blow out the Oregon, Seattle-y thing in like a week and a half. You could blow out a little Arizona, Vegas thing. That, it's funny because there was like the Los Angeles rockabilly, psychobilly scene, which is pretty pure and it's its own thing.
Right.
But then there's like across the country scene, it's its own thing. And that's when you
go
to a different place, it's not like there's this army of people with quiffs and into psychobilly. It's not that way. It's incorporated. Like, there's rockabilly people, psychobilly people, horror rock people.
They have their own genre.
They all kind of come together to like a Billy band, sort of say, and that's why there's not
so
a lot.
It's its own movement.
It's kind of its own. Well, yeah, but with us, we crossed over into this like horror rock genre thanks to Wednesday bringing us on, and it was like that is this whole other thing. You got like there's all these people that are into like whether they might be into the Misfits, they might be into Marilyn Manson, they might be into a goth kind of current death rock
but it's
bands.
Still drawing
they might
them all
be
in.
into. They might be into Kiss. They might be like, it was.
Now, did you guys ever release an album then?
No, we did. We released 2 records, and then you go online. We've done singles since then.
Okay, definitely have to check that out.
But it was, I honestly say, we toured more than anything. I probably did more in that band than I did in any other band.
Really?
We toured more.
Got to do places, and
it was crazy. And it was like, I'll never, like, I'm so glad I did that band, because there was a part of me that, like, I know you knew the Zeros and you asked me about them.
Right,
like,
right.
And a lot of people I know in LA do, because they remember those times.
Right.
Which was a special time in rock and roll, not just that band.
Right.
You know, so many other bands. But
you really enjoyed.
But that was like when there's.
Now, how did you guys come up with the name?
The singer did.
Okay.
I don't know how he did it, but he was like, he did.
Cold Blue Rebels.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
And I think, I don't know how he did. I think he was thinking like Pabst Blue Ribbon, and it was like.
All right. So, as far as today's music, what do you think? Where do you think it's headed with the new generation?
I don't know anything about new generation or any. Basically, you know, I'm 61 at this point. I still go see shows.
Right.
And you know, I see shows more or less from bands that I like. You know what I mean? I'll go see. I just, you know, Exploited, GBA. I see all that. Or I'll go see.
But none of the new.
But I'll go see Udo Dirkschneider. I'll see, you know. Ravens playing. I might go see them. You know what I mean? Like I'm about just seeing who I like.
Grew up with.
See the Damned Forever, a Pit Pill. I'll see, you know, just anybody that's coming. I'm thinking of concerts coming up that I'm going to go to. But I work a lot, so you know, I work a day job and I work my comedy store job, and that really keeps me busy. It almost. I'm working a lot, and I like it like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if I get the chance to play music myself once in a while, I look at it, because I'm not a guy that's going to sit there now, present day, because I'm always busy.
Right.
It's hard for me to just sit home, even though I have tons of basses. I have a full-blown SVT rig. I got the Ampeg half rig.
Actually,
I've got GK stacks. I got
Danny. Let me bring that up.
I got all this stuff, and I never ever seem to play it because I'm always working. But when I get a chance to, that's when I bite down and I go I'm doing this 6 months from now.
Right.
Here's my excuse to play, and I give myself a certain time period every day where I bite down. And so as much as I want to say I'm passionate and I love to sit around to play like Dream Police by Cheap Trick, or you know, Shout It Out Loud by Kiss or whatever. You know, I'm not at that. I don't, you know, do that. Really I look forward to playing once in a while to like be able to still go, oh yeah, this is what I.
Cool, man. Well, what I want to know is, can you give me a breakdown of the yellow bass? I don't know.
All right, a lot of people ask me about that.
What kind of bass is that, dude?
All right, I'm gonna go for this. He's talking about a bass that I played throughout my whole like Zeros,
career.
Slow Time Mondays. I played it. I didn't play it in the Cold Blue Rebels, but I played it, and I played it in Psychocharger. I was in New York City Psychocharger for a little while, and I played it in that. But okay.
Well, how did you go about getting it?
I'm going to go for it. In the 80s, the late 80s, it seemed like I kind of looked at certain things, and then I seemed to go this way. Like if it was going that way, I just went that
opposite direction.
So it'd be almost like the Zero scenario. Like if it was all like Guns N' Roses was a great band and their band album took off. So all of a sudden the Sunset Strip, all these dudes are like walking around with Jack Daniels bottles, all grungy, you know, or the 90s thing where they like, you know, they cut their hair and would look like Weezer or something. You know what I mean? Like I saw this pass, so I went this way. So at this point, I had one bass because I was a Pete Way fan. I bought his signature Washburn model, which was the thing, and it was cool, neck heavy. It wasn't like the best, but it was what I had bought.
Right.
And so now we're playing, and our manager Howie Huberman has a guitar store, but every band seemed to just want to, like, it was metal was big, so you had a lot of like a lot of people had like Jacksons or they were Fender bass players. Bass players were playing like Blitz basses or something. They would, I don't know. It just seemed like everybody had to have an endorsement. Like, I'm endorsed by Ibanez, or I'm endorsed by this, and I just sat there going like, well, who, whatever. Like, that doesn't mean that
doesn't mean crap.
Doesn't mean shit, really. Yep. I thought,
Yep. No, I totally agree.
So I had, I had a P bass, and I remember I got this sounds crazy, but if you look at Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, who I was a fan of, she always played that mid-60s Melody Maker.
Right, Melody Maker.
She was known for that. And there's something about, maybe in branding, about identifying with somebody through a bass. Like, to me, I saw a Thunderbird, and I thought nice Pete
bases.
Way.
Yeah. Or
I saw a Firebird guitar and thought, Brian Jones or Hanoi Rocks or something. I'd be like, I started seeing like identity. Like, to me, Johnny Thunders playing a TV Yellow Junior, Gibson Junior was like, he was known for that. I went to see him. I saw him a few times, and he'd always be playing that guitar. Right. So I said, it sounds kooky. I need something that's
off
my
the wall.
own thing. Yeah. Like, I'll play Fenders on records.
Right.
But I need something that I like playing, that looks a certain way, that's my own thing. Does that sound familiar? And I jump around a lot. Back then,
and that's what I was going to say too. I've seen you live.
Yeah, I was bouncing.
This guy,
not now at 61, but back then I was jumping around
all over the place.
We all
man.
were like,
very impressive.
Were like that.
Very impressive.
I was very aggressive.
Yeah.
So I went to the guitar store one day, and we would borrow guitars, like, to play gigs from his thing. And there was a guitar store next door to Guitars RS, which was what our manager co-owned. And he was like, called Waldo's. And he goes, hey, go next door. Our manager, Al Abrams, go next door and check out. He's got some really old, rare basses you might be into checking out. And I go, okay. So I go there, and he puts out this, it's called a Burns flight bass. Burns. Burns is famous for making...
Made by...
Burns from England. It's a UK bass, and it's but Burns is known for it. Brian May from Queen made his own guitar with his dad. The pickups he used in it were Burns guitar, pickups.
Right.
He made. Burns makes them. So that Queen sound, it was like he was kind of famous for that. And then that guitar was kind of a 74 to 76 area type. That it actually came out as a guitar, and it was kind of known played by Mark Bowen of T-Rex, and a couple other people played it. I can point even like there's an old there's an old Runaways thing where you see Lito Ford with it really quick, but there's a couple things, but it's very rare. Yeah, it's never made it. It's its own thing, right? So when he had that bass, I picked up the bass. It's very light. It's very light. And I was just like, it was mid-scale. It wasn't a long-scale bass, which is a little weird because you're used to long-scale. Okay. But I'm like, okay, this is rocking. I'm going to use this as like a little thing here. Thinking like, I wasn't thinking main bass. You know what I mean? So then I start playing it. I had an SVT. I had a 69 SVT, and it was kind of old. And down about a mile from me lived this guy named Billy Zoom. He was a guitar player in X. Right. And my manager hooked me up with him, and I got to know him. And to me, I was a big Billy Zoom from X. Like, I was like into him. Like, to me, he was the best part of that guy. Band. Yeah. Spark, all that. And I was just in it. So I was like, fuck, I can't believe that I'm getting to know Billy Zoom. Right. He's fixing my amp.
Amazing.
He got the okay from my manager to put a little money into it, and he took that head, and he made that head sing.
Sweet.
I'm telling you right now, you were talking earlier about your band practiced at Fortress Studios, well, so did we. There wasn't a band in Fortress Studios that would be like, that had that bass sound.
I don't think so. I don't even think
when
I
plugged that bass in,
yeah.
something about these pickups where, like, if you're familiar, like,
And they're stocked
that
by-
music was fast, so it was like there was, you're driving it,
Right,
and
right.
then you only might have a second to put a fill in, a change or something. So you would have to go high and make it sing. And dude, when you went high on that bass,
Right.
it would just fly through the mix. It would cut right through
Really?
it, and I'm all, this is amazing. So then we play a gig.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Your
like, what kind
first
of
gig
bass
with the
is that?
bass.
What kind of bass is that? And I go, okay, this bass separates us from everybody else. Right? It doesn't look like a P bass.
like a
It doesn't
typical-
look. It's not
Yeah.
metal. It's not.
Yeah.
To me, it's an old '70s glam bass, but like a rocket. And I go, this is my own thing. This is gonna be my.
So it wasn't
thing.
weird with the shape all
It was just so
triangular.
light, and I'm bouncing off the wall with this thing like it's nothing. And I'm like, this is my bass. And then I got obsessed with it. Like once the internet came out, I had to find it. Like I owned like
See
7
how
of
much
them.
it was worth.
Well,
Really?
I bought my first one. It was $350. Manager bought it for me, and $350, which was great.
Wow.
And now they're like $3,500. You go on Reverb, you'll find them. But they,
That's insane.
I at one point owned a lot of them. Now I only own I think I own 3 of them. But the main one's the one I always play. It's always the one. I've had it refretted. I've had.
What about with the one with all the stickers on there?
That was the
Which-
Washburn one, but I started doing
Washburn,
that to
okay,
all my
that's the
backup.
Washburn.
I had a G&L.
Okay.
So I kind of basically fast forward. I went. That was my main bass.
Okay.
And I would use this G&L L1000 as my backup bass that I had stickers on, and I had stickers on my Washburn. But when I recorded the actual record, I used the producer guy, Ron Gowdy, had like a late '60s P bass.
Oh, okay.
And it sounded
Okay.
great. And I recorded
Well,
the
it's got
first
that
record.
deeper that tone that P basses have.
It was great, and I recorded the first record with that. That was what we did. And basically, I think I own P basses, so whenever I record, I'll use a jazz bass or a P bass. I own both of them, and to me, that's what I want to record on, because the Rocket one didn't really record. I used it on one song, I think, on the record, but
And that was it.
It didn't really
Just this
track
one-
that well. It didn't
Really?
It didn't. As great as it sounded live, it didn't. Like you could really hear my fingers clicking which was like a problem.
I see.
And,
Well, it's the pickups, I guess. That's
it was so hot, yeah,
it was hot,
that they
yeah.
did that, and
what you would get.
so
Wow. Well, very cool,
yeah,
man. Because
I mean,
I've always
you can't
wondered.
go wrong, dude. In all honesty, if you're gonna be in a band, a P bass, an SVT, that's what you want. Like,
Right,
even
right.
though now they don't even tours go. It's all through laptops. They don't
Yeah,
even,
that's true.
But
that's
I don't
true.
care. I'm bringing my Ampeg.
I've always, right? Yeah, I was going to ask you that too.
And the stand-up bass, though, I
your
didn't
rig?
like. The stand-up bass was different. Like my SVT,
Right.
refrigerator didn't sound really good with the stand-up bass.
Okay.
So
okay.
I kind of had to go down that road, and I, obviously, there's a few options you have. I went GK.
Okay.
And I had a lot of people got their 1000 amp. I got their 700 RB. I think I could push it more.
Okay,
And
okay,
tweeted it out. And
Now, do you use any effects, or do you just plug straight in and then just?
I
That's
just
it. That's all
plugged
you
straight
need.
in, and I would
Okay.
just the zeros. I really set the high. It was very high end setting.
Okay.
I would press my
Normal tuning.
It was normal tuning. Now I might.
Okay.
I don't know if I do something now with them, but I would hit my treble all the way. I'd
Right.
back up the others. I would literally cut my. The treble would just be driving it. It was very, very high end. The original zeros tone. And this reunion one, I set it more just to scoop sound like normal, because I just wasn't like that anymore. But yeah.
Okay, cool. So if we were to dig into your, soundtrack in your car, what would you be listening to at this time? Are you more of just radio stations, or are you just
Never radio stations.
never radio stations?
No, in fact, I'll tell you the last 3 bands I listened to. I drove to work yesterday listening to the Kinks. We were right.
Great, right?
I drove home listening to Discharge. Right.
Oh, okay.
And I drove here listening to Old Queen.
Nice.
So I don't
very
like,
eclectic.
I'm more like just kind of bop around.
Yeah.
But like that band, that first album was great.
Yeah.
I like different stuff. You know what
I know. Like, it's funny because I remember a band back in the day too. Back in the I don't know if it was the 80s or 90s. They were called the Voluptuous Horror of Karen Black.
You know what's so crazy?
I don't know if you remember
I was gonna
them.
wear that shirt here. I have two Voluptuous Horror Karen Black shirts, and I go, what could I wear that no one's gonna know, that you're not gonna know, because I know could be metal or punk, and I was just like, I'm going to wear this Voluptuous Horror Karen Black shirt. And then this shirt fell out, and I go, Frankenhooker, come on.
There you go.
This is like, I'm going to wear that. Well, but I was a huge Voluptuous Horror. In fact, I'm going to tell you how much I love this band. Okay. I saw them back in the day. I've seen them, since. Those dolls that she has, I own 2 of them.
Really?
I literally carried them across I met her before. She's amazing, and I love Samoa, the guitar player. I just love that band.
Very amazing guitar.
Because to me, it's punk, it's fun, but it's fun. When you see her, she has an energy of just.
And that's what I was going to say. For people that don't know who the Voluptuous Horror of Karen Black is,
it's just fun.
She paints herself down.
Blue.
She's naked. Yeah, she's naked.
She has big props.
Exactly.
It was I saw them at the garage in the night.
The garage,
in '94 or something. I don't know. It was and I've seen them since. But to me, she's in my top 20 of the live shows that I've had fun seeing.
I've seen them a couple of times.
And I have actual collectioners. I got posters. First album, she signed it. I've got.
Are they still?
She did. I belong. Are they done? I literally belong to their Patreon. I belong to not even. I don't belong to hardly anything, but I belong to theirs because they had a thing where join our Patreon, help us
it was just
finance
different.
a new record, and I was like, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, and then I'd be buy this $50 shirt that's worth $20. Okay, I'll do it. You know what I mean? I'm just
they were just different. They were just different as well. I mean, it's more of shocking.
It was more also on the term of a cramps. It's a more
slash cramps.
It's a little I don't know. It's just more a little punky, garagey, or just more of that.
More garagey. Yeah. I'm surprised that you were going to wear the shirt. I didn't.
And you should have saw it.
Am I the first guy that you probably ran into?
You're the only guy that I ever know that It was funny because Coldplay Rebels were playing. We're going to play Webster Hall down there.
Okay.
I remember. My singer's like, why are you carrying the suitcase with these dolls in it? Little 50 suitcase I had, and I was just and then I remember I hit her up.
Yeah,
it was just she was I don't know what she was doing. She was doing something, and
right.
And she was just and she did this one time where I had met her. She did something here in L.A. and I went. And I took a pic. I brought one of the dolls with me to take a pic with her, And she's like, this doll's really thrash. And I'm all, I know, it's been on a tour with me. I was brought this to New York City when I played there. And she's all, give me the doll and I'll fix it. Dude, she took my doll.
No kidding.
She took the doll and fixed it. And I was just and she brought it back. She gave it back to me the next day. And I thought, this is the kind of rocker I want to be.
I want to start hanging out with this
I'm going to be cool to people she's cool to me.
Right. Now, are they still around, or are they kind of?
No, they're still around.
They are still playing around.
Probably not as active as.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was going to say too.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even my old band only plays once a year, once every couple of years.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool because it's so crazy because a lot of the older bands like us, like yourself, myself, we tend to not shoot so much for anything anymore. It's more just to play,
To me, it's that way. Right? I know the singer in the Zeros would love to make it. In fact, that's kind of where we're at now. If he is the band. And
okay.
Luckily for me, he's generously allowed me to hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to do it? Or if somebody comes to me, I could say, hey, these guys asked me if they want to play.
Right.
I'd be into it. I could do that. But really, it's I just
right. Now, did you write any of the songs?
No, I didn't. Only.
So was it Joe Normal?
No, it was Sam Serious wrote our whole first
all
record.
The material, really.
And we had a lot to do with it. Nobody told me my parts. Nobody told the way we exchanged something.
Oh, nice. So
it's hard to say that in a weird way to be
okay.
He wrote those songs, but at the same time, would they have sounded that way? And to me, I'm going to be honest, he'll be pissed off probably, but they wouldn't have because none of his other lineups ever sounded like us.
Right.
And nobody told us. Do this, do that. We just did it.
And you know what?
Those brothers sang together. They sang I would be more shouter guy,
Right.
but
Right.
they would be like, they had that
Yeah, I
harmony
heard
going.
the harmonies
And they
as
just
well.
did it. He would sing, and the chorus would hit, and boom! All of a sudden, there's Queen behind me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was like, "This is the shit." You know what I mean? This was like, but I loved that band. I loved
Playing with them and
whatever he does to that. I love the fact that current day he still puts out new records and stuff, and I love the fact that he still has a sense of humor. Like a lot of those songs weren't really serious; we were about fun, and a lot of his music today, even though he can write a really thing, to me, he's like everybody has somebody. Like I'm not going to say a big brother thing, but he was older than us. But it was to me, he was like I had never been around anybody like that, and all the bands I had been in. To really, he doesn't write to get a hit song like that. He generally just sits down and writes songs for his own life.
Gotcha.
And I just really looked at it like this is a real
right.
artist guy. He's not trying to be anything. He just
any
for
favorite
the love of it.
songs that you could pick out from
Of that band?
From that band.
A lot of the favorite
Colada
songs,
Bang.
a lot of that's not my favorite song. Even though that was fun to play live, and we were so wacky and doing all we'd always do shtick in there, and, comedy style. We had fun. In fact, some of the best shows were not. We played the country club. There's not a club that in Hollywood we didn't play. From Raji's to the Scream to the fucking Roxy.
And you know what I liked? What I liked?
Thanks the Whiskey Go for painting itself purple.
Yeah, and I was actually going to.
And there's no other place I'd reunite than play the Whiskey, because that is, to me, even
spot.
as a kid, was my spot where I go, I want to play there one day. And I did, and to headline it all those years and did it, because a lot of bands just are big a year, but the Zeros had a whole stretch.
You guys really,
we had a long time.
You really did
for a band that didn't have a deal on the strip.
Yeah. Definitely left your mark.
It was. We did, and now there's 2 Zero bands, so I don't know how that worked out, but. But
even the teaser,
teaser
not
too,
just the Whiskey,
it
was also
great.
the Coconut Teaser back in the day that painted up purple.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys had the town going, man. I mean, it was a big,
great.
It was a big thing for you guys.
It was just fun, and we could talk about that, but it was just fun, and I look at it like
just during the time.
It was the time, and it was just great. Some of the bands we played with were great. Like I love the fact that band could play any scene. Like a lot of bands could just play this scene,
Right.
But like it took us a while to kind of get in the metal thing. Like a lot of those metal guys would look at us and go, "Look at this guy!" Like I would always take the heat because I didn't look like I looked like a freak, and so they'd be just like,
"What would you describe?"
But when that started playing and during sound check, I could play,
anything really.
I'd see them, and I'd be okay, metal. You start playing like Phantom of the Opera by,
and that's so
and
weird.
then they look at you like, well, how does he know that? Or like they would just take the heat off during sound check. You try to get through the sound check, but when we played live and start bouncing, just boom, we would win their crowd. And mostly at the country club, we got that.
The country club,
did? But some of the funnest shows were like you'd play we would play this little place called Chex, and like.
I remember Chex.
It's like in Monrovia or something.
I think it's Santa Fe Springs.
Santa Fe Springs or something.
Yeah, with the checkered.
It would just be like
I remember that place.
Slam-packed of kids, and we would just be going off. And we would never be serious. We'd always be having fun. So we'd play. We would just make goof songs. I love those moments. Just fun. Like we would play in East Hollywood late night club and just burn right through it.
Wow.
I love those days.
Yeah.
The Coconut Teaser you're talking about, how many times I would jump up and smack my head on that low ceiling?
It's so low, and then the stage is...
I would knock myself out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going like, I put so much effort. Why did I do that when I could have just sat back like the guy from like Boston and just sat there? Like,
exactly. No.
I'm just kidding.
Now, the van part... Who owns?
That wasn't a van. That was a '67
was
Chevy.
Was it a '67 Chevy?
Chevelle.
Okay.
Station wagon,
Nice,
and we actually had 2 station wagons. We had a '65 Pontiac Bonneville station that carried the amps to the show. That was mine, and then we had the actual. Sam had that that 67
Okay.
one, and we painted it purple,
Okay.
did it up, and it's still around somewhere today, I think.
Wow. And it's funny because I'd
The
see
Zero Mobile, we
the
call it.
Zero Mobile. Yeah, because I always see you guys, either you guys or Angelina driving her
Angeline with her pink
Corvette,
Corvette,
with her pink Corvette around. It's
Yeah.
you two guys that I would see all the time.
You know.
So, but it's always the whiskey. And so, do you miss a lot of the playing, or are you satisfied with where you're at right now in life?
You know, I looked at it, and of course,
not-
you would love to have made it like a career where you're playing the
Right.
Forum and,
Right,
and
right,
doing all that.
right.
You would have loved to do that, but I got really.
Did you burn out at one point?
I think I burned out a little on the Cold Blue Rebels after all the touring. Here I am in my 40s, working 2 jobs, doing every weekend. It got a little burnout.
That's a lot. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with the Zeros, it was so much stress and commitment. We were stressing on ourselves, you know, that it wasn't. We had fun on stage, but it was very serious. And I know that. I don't know. I have a love for it, so I don't want to taint that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it was, you know, it was hard.
And you guys sounded. I mean,
Today, though, dude, I look at it like, you know, from what I started out, and I wish a lot of other guys would look at it. I know some rockers that are like me that like, they really sit back, they look at what they did, and then you can find to be proud in it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I totally agree.
Like for me,
it's almost like your legacy of being in the music industry.
Like I
performing
can deal with tons of haters, and I could probably deal with some people that say, well, they've done more than I have, but
Right.
I've done a lot more than a lot of people have.
You actually have.
And I don't have to.
Yeah.
And I respect everybody.
It's like you don't have to prove anything, really,
I'm not
to
better
anybody.
than any. You know, like I have more of a punk mentality than I would a metal mentality. Because metal people used to kind of they'd have to act like a rock star
with the cross arms.
Yeah,
and,
cross them like they're the
Yeah,
shit.
they're
And
the
I remember
shit.
I hated that. I was like, well, what?
Oh, I hated that too. Dude.
Like, and then you go see him, the guy'd be all drunk, and
Yeah.
like, because he couldn't face being in front of people.
right,
Like, I was
exactly.
good at being in front of
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
But I just know that there's a time where you can sit back, and I don't care if you put a record out, if you didn't put a record out, if you had a band that was together 2 years, and then say you played a few shows, big shows, and you played some small shows.
Right.
But you can look back, you can sit back with your buddies that, you know, listen to some, you know, talk, maybe you're friends with the guys in the band still,
Yeah.
you kind of
Yeah.
remember it.
Yeah.
But
And say I did
and
this.
be proud of what you did.
Yeah, your accomplishments.
Because at the end of the day, I know so many people that didn't have a passion or do anything at all or try anything. They never even tried anything.
Oh, are you talking about?
Just normal people, like they never had a passion or did anything. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's
And
true.
it
And never
was
really
like-
got off their asses and.
Yeah, at least
You
at
know.
one point, because basically you have this point where you're invincible from like the late teenagehood
Right.
to say late 20s, maybe early 30s.
Right.
Where, you know, but definitely there's this 18 to 25 or something where you're just like, and
Right, exactly.
If you didn't do
Exactly.
something in that
Yeah.
time period where you know,
kind of lost out a little bit on.
and I did, and I looked at what I did. I wanted to do. I was at the spot where I was at. I
Right.
put everything into it. I didn't waste any opportunity. And I look
you
at it
went for
like,
it.
and I went for it, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, you know. And I did some, you know, we headlined the
good.
Avalon, the Purple Hair Band, you know, Zeros,
yeah.
headlined the Avalon twice. We worked our way up, headlining Country Club, Whiskey, Roxy, every club in town.
Wow. So with-
Thanks to Janie Lane, we played the Santa Monica Civic,
Wow, really?
opening for
Janie-
Warrant, sold
really?
out. We did some great things, you
Wow.
know, and
So
Tracy Gunn, I opened up all those first LA Gun shows that we did
very
the
good.
Palace, and you know, which is the Avalon now, and then we went to play.
So
on
well,
the-
how do you feel about, you know, like we were talking about, you know, bands, not tiring and paying their dues and stuff like that.
It's
And
so
now-
hard now, though. But how do they tour? How do they make money?
well,
Streaming, you don't make money.
Well,
like
that's what I was going to bring up.
you got to love it to do it.
Yeah. But nowadays, you have a lot of these tribute bands. I mean,
But where's rock and roll right
Exactly.
now? At least tribute bands are offering somebody on a Friday night the chance to sing "Don't Stop Believing" and whatever. I don't know what song they're playing, but I mean,
right.
if they're doing that for the money, that's I don't know how to think.
Do you think they've lost their artistic ways once they start going that direction in life? Or?
I just know that it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. I've never done that. I don't care. I don't want to be in a covers band.
Yeah.
I'll play covers in a band, but I just don't. That wasn't what I wanted to do, and I never did it.
You don't want to see a guy dressing up like the Zeros.
when I first started playing in bands, you'd play covers, but I started noticing there's some bands that would just we're gonna make it. Well, dude, you don't have any originals. You're just playing covers. You know what I mean? Even as a kid, I knew that wasn't gonna work.
Right.
But I'd be like, oh, I don't. And that's why I know, and I feel so fortunate today that I did get to be in the Zeros, because Sam really, I felt,
and the thing
was a great writer, and I stand by that. And I think he was cool.
And the thing is that you actually paid your dues.
I did, to the point where when I wrote songs with, say, Mickey Finn and Cobra Rebels, and it was more rockabilly, I felt like, wow, I'm actually doing something.
It's your way of presenting yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank you for coming down today, Danny.
Dude, this was fun,
I totally appreciate it. And it was an honor of having you here.
Dude, it's an honor to be here.
No, it's an honor having you here, man.
It's an honor to be here.